Hey, Shalom Mesha, I want to start off source by giving no praise to Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, Ba'ashem Kakadash, the blessed apostle of great Most High, and honors you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahawah is the real name of whom the Lord inwardly calls God, Jehovah. Yahweh, his real name is Yahawah, and his son's true name is Yahawashi. When we pray Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Right, Ba meaning in, her meaning there, and Shah meaning name. So Yahawah, the name of Yahawashi. So quick, I meant to do this vid a couple of days ago. Brother shared this clip here. Right, it's a street preaching Yahawah Shem Yahawashi, Philippines, right? And man, that's the names of the Lord, man, and his son, right? So this word has truly gone out through the whole, through the four corners of the earth, as the scripture says. Right, so we know what happens. We know that means that the end is near. Okay, and that's also why the SPLC, right, had to change it from BHI to the E word, right, the EX word, EXT word. Okay, Hebrew Israelites. Okay, all right, because Esau's getting scared, man. He's getting scared. You can see there's a few of them there. They got some women there. Scriptures say women ain't supposed to teach, but yeah, man, you can see that the Lord is working a work, right, in these days, man. The Lord is waking people up. Okay, and Jay, over here, right, in the UK at least, you do get, Filipinos and stuff like that, usually working with Jake in the, in the hospitals and stuff like that. But you look at, I believe it's Filipinos have a lot of as a break dancing culture. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, because you got that comedian Joe Coy, which, to be fair, he's actually a his father's actually a so-called white man, but his mother's Filipino, right? But he basically had a show and he had a load of like Filipino break dancers. You watching them, them guys break dancing. You're like, yo, these guys are, I've got a vibe in, man. Right? Scriptures talk about how Jake is the soul of the earth. Okay. So what you call it? Yeah, YouTube's broken for me. So once I close this page, I ain't gonna be able to get back up to it. Each time I close the app, it messes around. So no, pull up some precepts and stuff like that. Well, before I do here, you see the Filipino b-boys, right? Victorious in Red Bull. So there was a Red Bull competition, and who won? It was some Filipinos, right? Filipino breakdancers on the lookout for a resurgence, right? And stuff like that. Philan breakdancers wins international dance competition, right? And what's is this another one? Okay, now they're trying to get into the Olympics or something like that. Okay, so you see that they won the one in Red Bulls 2019, right? What, 2021, and what in 2022 as well. Oh no, that was just yeah. So it's basically 2 years you see them winning. Okay, but yeah, enough of that. Let me get some precepts instead. Right, this is Matthew 24:14. Right, it says, and this gospel, right, of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. Right, and that's it. Right, the Slack is, so I just seen something from what once. It's like I forgot where I was. Which got just saw a message. I'm on the clock at the moment, but yeah, it says Matthew 24:14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. And as you saw there, right, that was a completely different land. Okay, we weren't there, but that's one of the reasons why he's getting scared. He's, as I mentioned many times in videos that I do, Spirit has me mention it a lot. But that's one of the reasons why these elites are getting scared, because they're seeing, all of these camps, being popping up all around the world. And once again, the Spirit has it whereby actually a lot of brothers, speak about it, right? So for example, because at the end of the day, what are they speaking about, right? When you seeing all of these camps, being popped up, not being popped up, but popping up all around the world, right? what are they speaking? Are they speaking peace and safety? Are they speaking about love? Are they saying, everything's all beautiful, everything's all great? No, they're saying that this kingdom is going down. So Jeremiah 28:8 says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. And when you do those things, people hate you for it. Okay. This is tell you. It says Galatians 4:16, am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? All right. So because we tell people the truth, they make an enemy out of us, which ultimately is the spirit, because their spirit isn't right, right? Their spirit, it basically doesn't, mix with this truth, so that it offends them. Okay, but so what if they're offended? Let them be offended, right? Because they can be offended by our words, but the Lord's gonna kill them. So be offended all you want, right? And when the Lord does with you what He does, then that ain't on me, right? Don't say you weren't warned, because everyone's been warned, right? So yeah, where were we? Right, so that's what's happening. When you see all of these camps coming up, that's what's happening. But the Lord, He's doing a work in these days, man. Right, it's Isaiah 11:11. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set His hand again the second time to recover the remnant of His people, which shall be left. Right, that remnant, going into there's an elect. Okay, there is an elect of the children of Israel. Whereas these heathen nations, right, they ain't got nothing to do with this, right? You get certain individuals that try to make it seem like they got a part of this. No, they ain't got a part of this, right? It's all about the elect of Israel. It's all about Israel, right? But first and foremost, the elect. But it says, the Lord shall set His hand again the second time to recover the remnant of His people, which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. Now, is the Philippines not an island, right? Is the Philippines is an island, man, right? And you saw it there. They were what do you call it? They were out there teaching, right? It's a when you contrast that to, you get certain Israelites, right, in countries where it's easy to teach, right? You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, constitutionally, you get certain places you go and you curse out the so-called white man. Hey, Jake gonna get wild at you, right? You get certain guys in these countries where it's quote unquote easy to teach. Cameras and smartphones are easy to come by. Internet and data is cheap, right? But they don't. Yet you get people in other countries where it may be a little bit more contentious to come out and be like, yo, these so-called white people, these Edomites, they're the devil, right? That this kingdom is going down, right? Certain places, man, that's that'll be fighting talk, man, right? The response to how a lot of these nations, a lot of Jake, for example, have responded to the death of QE2, right? Jake is all like all crying. These older generation Jakes are all crying and shit like that, right? You would have never thought it. I.e., what point am I making? Point I'm making is, you get a lot of our people that are very much in love with the master, man. Okay, but like I said, it's a damn shame, man. You get people that can teach but don't. It's a damn shame. Right, but verse 12 says, and he shall set up an ensign for the nation, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Right, so wherever Jake is scattered, right, that's one of the reasons why this is like this, right? I'll read it again, Matthew 24:14, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world, right, from one end of heaven to the other, right? And what really enabled that? The internet, man. Okay, it says, and then shall the end come. So why did it have to go that way? Because first, right, the Lord needs to make it sure that everyone's heard, because then no one can be like, oh, I didn't know, right? Everyone knows what's going on, and no one can say that they never heard the word of the Lord, right? Because the word of the Lord has been going out for however long, okay? And then the Lord made it such that everyone had a chance to hear. So you've now got two camps, right? those that are, in Israel anyway, right? Those that heard, right, and did nothing about it, and those that heard and the Spirit jumped on them, and they did something about it. Okay, now ultimately we know this is all in the Spirit, right? Once again, the elect has been ordained from the foundation of the earth, right? This is Ephesians 1:4. It says, according as he hath chosen us in and before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love, having been predestinated, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahawashi Mashiach to himself, right, according to the good pleasure of his will, right? So before the foundation of the world, the Lord had chosen his elect, right? Some people are, but why you, why this, why that, right? No, the Lord just chose it. Good pleasure of his will. He was like, these are my chosen people, right? And these are not my chosen people, right? And that's just amongst Israel. Then he says to the other nations, like, look, man, you are spittle, right? So the Lord is gonna be the Lord is gonna be doing, not gonna be, the Lord is doing his thing, man. Right? You're seeing everything that's happening in the world, and one can only draw the conclusion, right, that this kingdom, right, is done. Right? So you see there Kush, Ethiopia, right, Elam, India, Pakistan, Iran, right, which are, I went to school with some, so-called Pakistanis, right? I went to school with some so-called Indians, right? Work with some of them, right? And you're gonna have our people all among those people, man, right? Let's close with some Israelite foreigner scriptures. Let me jump down one I want to grab real quick. This is just open that in a new tab. All right, it's Ezekiel 36 from 19, right? Let me see where I'll start. I'll start from 17, actually, read into it. It says, Son of man, when the house of Israel dwelt in their own land, they defiled it by their own way and by their doings. Right? Their way was before me as the uncleanness of a removed woman. Right? Unclean religious impurity. It says of a removed woman, right? So basically, when we was in the land, we weren't keeping the laws. Right? So that annoyed the Lord. Okay. This is when I poured my fury upon them for the blood that they had shed upon the land and for the idols whereof they had polluted it, right? It says, and I scattered them among the heathen, right? So basically what's happening here is it's spelling out what the reason why this particular curse befell us. Right, it says Deuteronomy 28:64. It says, and the Lord Yahawah shall scatter thee among all people. Right? And the reason for this, if we just jump up, because we just literally read it there, but this is it. It says verse 15, right? Deuteronomy 28:15, but it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of Yahawah thy power, right? And to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Okay, so what was one of the things that just listed in Ezekiel 36? Idol worship. Right, the Lord said, "Yo, don't be, thou shalt have no other gods before me." Right, yet Jake were getting all up into that, right, and to the point where the Lord saw it and he was angry, right. So we jump back down to verse 64. All right, it says, and the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, right, from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, right, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Okay, so that's one of the curses, right? All of these, all of our people that have, look like the heathens, right? In that time of salvation, they're gonna be changed. You can read about that in 1 Corinthians the 15th chapter, was the 2 Corinthians 15th chapter, but right, about how in the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, we shall all be changed, right? So although they may look the way they do, right, you get certain bros that look like, Edomites or whatever, but really they're Jake, right? Guess what? They're gonna be changed, right? So that's why, for instance, you got all of these people that look on the outward, they're like, oh, but look at his hair, look at this, look how pale he is, or look at his eyes, what his eyes are, as they say, what you got, I want to say it, but you know how these bloody senses on this YouTube are nowadays, right? But basically, like, you might have them Chinese eyes or whatever, right? But that doesn't matter. None of that matters, because in fact, I've said it a few times. But let me just grab it, right? This is 1 Corinthians 15 and 51, right? Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkle of an eye, at the last trump. For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. Okay, so there's a change coming, right? We shall be changed, before we get into them chariots. Those will be of the elect. We will gonna be changed, right? So it don't matter how one looks now. Right, so back in Ezekiel 36 and 19 it says, and I scattered them among the heathen, and they were dispersed through the countries, according to their way and according to their doings I judged them. Right, so that was a curse. Right, and we're now at an end where, for the most part, the most majority of Israel ain't in the land of Israel. Right, yeah, you go and have some Israelites that are sprinkled amongst them, Amalekites living in our land, and them so-called Palestinians living in our land. You're gonna have Israelites among them, right? But for the most part, most of Israel, right, is scattered throughout the world. You got a lot of us, a large bulk of us are in the Americas, right? But you got Israel scattered throughout everywhere, right? In the west coast of Africa, right? In places like Ireland, places like Sicily and stuff like that, right? And there's a billion or so, so-called Chinese, which are the Moabites, according to the scriptures. You definitely gonna have, Israelites among them. I met one, would you call it, one individual. She was just a straight up Benjamite, okay? But she was so-called Chinese. Right, verse 20 says, and when they entered unto the heathen, whether they went, they profaned my holy name. When they said to them, these are the people of Yahawah, and are gone forth out of his land. And then, right, and this is 24, and on jump to 24, it says, for I will take you from among the heathen, and gather you out of all countries, and I will bring you into your own land. So that's what the Lord has promised us, right? So although we're scattered in the four corners of the earth, the Lord is going to save us, and bring us back into our own land, right? So I think the point is made at this point. So as always, Lord, what I was edifying. Until next time, we say shalom.